Hello, my name is HR BINWALEE. I'm the author of the upcoming book, Crises, Student Loan Debt in America. I'd like to share with you the first chapter of the book. So many people have been inquiring about this book. I thought I'd go ahead and just give you a taste of, how this whole book came about. So the first chapter of this book is entitled Briefing. Obviously, so many people write books for a number of reasons. Let me first start by briefing you on how this book came about. This is an inside story of my experience working as a national admissions advisor at a for-profit university. Understand that I wrote this book back in 2006 to voice my concerns about Wall Street's invasion of the academic community through for-profit private education. More importantly, I believe it is a matter of public concern. Now, some might argue that the word invasion is a bit dramatic and implies violence or some sort of forced captivity is at hand. Before you jump to conclusion that this is some sort of fear-inspired conspiracy theory journalism, I assure you that this is not. There is a crisis at hand that could exceed the housing boom in America. In this country, as well as other nations, education is usually synonymous with academic freedom, not bondage. We all believe that education is supposed to empower people to prosper. However, after reading this book, you will be able to draw your own conclusions as to how powerful corporations have contaminated our learning pools in America and abroad. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that I would be the messenger of a message of this type of economic and historical proportion. What's more interesting is, in 2003, I applied for a similar position at the brick-and-mortar campus of American Intercontinental University in Atlanta, Georgia. To my dismay, I was overlooked for the position. Shortly after, in July of 2004, I relocated back to my hometown, Chicago, Illinois. After securing a few small consulting contracts and working part-time in social services, the door opened for me to work in online education. To my surprise, AIU Online was located in the suburbs of Chicago near the headquarters of HR Education Corporation, which is the publicly traded company that owns and operates the university based in Atlanta. It left me baffled, to say the least. How could a southern school have a campus way up north in my neck of the woods? CEC controls over 80 private for-profit schools and colleges. Some consider this multi-billion-dollar corporation to be the Microsoft of for-profit post-secondary education. At the time of my hiring, American Intercontinental University of Atlanta, Georgia, was the largest of the CEC umbrellas of schools. AIU also offered campuses in Los Angeles, Houston, Tampa, London, Dubai, and the online campus where I was employed. As I mentioned, AIU Online is located near CEC headquarters in the suburbs of Chicago. This particular campus, along with its sister campus, CTU Online, a campus of Colorado Technical University, is immensely sacred to the company. Why do you think the online schools are such golden nuggets? Well, lower overhead with an infinite amount of enrollment compared to that of brick-and-mortar campuses leads to massive profit. Not to mention a poor economy and larger numbers of disenfranchised Americans pushes the market demand off the charts. In crises, student loan debt in America, you will see firsthand how our most vulnerable become prey to sheer agents of greed. Please be aware that as we go further, some of the details are explicitly graphic. AIU Online is one of the fastest growing colleges in the world. The culture created by CEC reeks of sex, money, power, and seemingly in one instance even led to suicide. Things appeared to be out of control at many of the CEC campuses. Although I was not aware at the time that I was hired on January 3rd of 2005, Career Education Corporation has been facing some major legal and regulatory issues. 14 months later, I found myself feeling like I had been bamboozled. We were sold the propaganda that we were in the business of changing lives. Little did I know that we were rewriting academic history and certainly changing lives, but not necessarily for the betterment of mankind. For organizations like this, it's all about the numbers. CEC was proud of American Intercontinental University of Atlanta, Georgia, and the mega growth that it was having, especially at the online campus. Before the corporation's acquisition of AIU's campuses, this college was considered a small institution. Also, if you look at the AIU online campus, initially its student population was only about a few hundred students. In 2001, Career Education Corporation purchased the school while it was in financial trouble from a former Atlanta entrepreneur named Steve Bossich for a reported $81 million. Mr. Bossich was offered minor shareholdings and absorption of the school's debt, and he quickly became insignificant in the decision-making process. CEC, a publicly traded Wall Street giant, purchased many other fiscally weak schools as well, ultimately becoming the world's largest for-profit private education provider. CEC shares have consistently taken a beating in the face of shareholder lawsuits and federal investigations into claims that it defrauded its investors and students. By the time I had finished this transcript of this book in 2006, the results of the investigations were still ongoing. Crisis student loan debt in America was somewhat ahead of its time, and quite frankly, I wrestled with whether I would even ever release this book. Family and friends have urged me to offer this information to the public as a one-of-a-kind resource. We will look at some of the results of the investigations later. I'd like to show you how we got here so that individuals can make informed decisions about where they pursue higher education. Like many large companies in expansion phase, Career Education Corporation was determined to make good on the millions of dollars at stake. Timing was nearly perfect with the regional accreditation of the online campus that would later come from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. SACS lends the AIU campuses much-needed credibility and a little prestige to go with it. This is huge because it is the platform that was used to build the AIU online campus a pot of gold. Nearly every prospective student that wants to attend college online, they want to attend a regionally accredited university. On top of that, add short 13-month programs to entice applicants. Regional accreditation is the highest that a university can achieve. In order to receive Title IV funds from the federal government, a college must be regionally accredited and in good standing. Now, Career Education Corporation was able to recoup investment in American Intercontinental University, once a dying school, through federal funding. Taxpayers paid the company's bills through revenue dispersed from the Department of Education's Federal Student Aid Program. In fact, more than 60% of the annual multi-billion-dollar revenue of Career Education Corporation comes from financial aid. AIU Online is the flagship of CEC to execute its multi-billion-dollar yearly agenda. I don't know of any for-profit college that has a sales plan as aggressive. Also, CTU Online was acquired to duplicate the process. The goal is to corner the online education market as a sales organization infiltrating the academic community through AIU of Atlanta, Georgia, which at one time was a college virtually unknown. Career Education Corporation is making a fortune. Keep in mind, that does not include the other post-secondary schools in the United States that have been invaded by this monster of Wall Street. With vast capital and the promise of even more Title IV funding, the focus is on online education. The demand is so great that AIU Online operates like a separate university of its own. More to come on crisis student loan debt in America. I'm HR BINWALEE. Thank you for listening.